And what I'm about to show you is that Americans, what I just showed, Americans in whole, most of the world don't understand that one key I showed you, right? So watch this. You ready? Okay. Peace and love, family. Peace and love, family. I don't have much time. The officers here are busy, etc. I know we're in a hostile climate. Please don't think that I am trying to hug up with the what is perceived as the open enemy. You understand? And I don't mean any offense, but you understand the climate that we're living in. That's why you came, because you probably thought it might have been hostile, right?
No.
So, no, let's be honest.
No.
We know what's going on, and so y'all have to protect each other.
No. Let's just get to the point.
Let's just get to the point.
We didn't think you guys
Let me just get to the
We've
point.
been a whole hour back and forth answering calls.
Okay.
Right.
But I'm just saying, as far as we were all over there, all those brothers, that's why y'all were called and been over here in this area. So because of the climate. But so again, I was speaking with our brother, Ronnie, and teaching a lesson about nationality. And so in that same concept, the Sarge walked up, so I want to reiterate that same lesson, and hopefully you two can gain some understanding. Come a little closer so they can hear. Sergeant Lee, right? Sergeant Lee is Chinese American. I asked him what's his nationality. First he said Chinese. I said, are you Chinese or Chinese American? He said Chinese American. I said, good. Do you know the difference? He said, not quite. So I said, okay, no problem. I asked my brother Ronnie, what's your nationality? He said Chinese. And so I explained the difference. Ronnie is Chinese because he was born in China. You understand? Sergeant Lee is Chinese American because he descends from Chinese people. His ancestors are from China, but he was born in America, which is no slight from any of them. Neither one of them is better than the other. They're both the same people. One was just born here and one was born there. You understand?
Right.
You descend from the same people. What your forefathers were, you still are today. There's nothing that can change that. And so then I said, Sarge, what's the stereotypical, and this is no offense to anyone, we all know the stereotypes, what is the stereotypical nationality that lives in Chinatown? And Sarge said, Chinese. Then I said, what's the stereotypical nationality of people who live in Little Village? And Sarge said, Hispanic at first. And I said, well, that's not a nationality. Then he said, Mexican. And I said, right. So you know the difference between a nationality and what they call people, right? Not nationalities, those other names, misnomers, false names. And so I'll ask further, what's the stereotypical nationality of people who live in the Bridgeport area? Stereotypically, we all know. We're from Chicago.
Be Irish or
You're a Chicago police officer. We all know. What's the stereotypical? It's not your stereotype. It's what we all know. In 1950, there was a map that did that. It's prior to our time. But what's stereotypical nationality?
That would be Irish or Italian.
Right? Irish or Italian. Thank you. Irish or Italian. Now, the stereotypical nationality of people who live in Little India up north. Indian. Thank you. Y'all join us. India, right? And so then I asked, what's the stereotypical nationality of people who live in, say, Greektown? Greeks, right. Now I said, what's the stereotypical nationality of people who live in Inglewood or Bronzeville or Chatham or Gresham or on the west side or on the east side or in Roseland? What's the stereotypical nationality of the people who live in our neighborhoods who look like us? My brother Ronnie, don't answer. What's the stereotypical nationality? He said African Americans. So I asked the same way I asked my brother Ronnie. Africa is a continent, right? With 54 different countries and even more nations. But when I asked your nationality, you identified China or Chinese, which is not a continent, but it's a nation, right? Nationality is the quality and character that comes from belonging to a nation, right? Right. Now, what the quality and character that comes from belonging to a nation includes is your culture. You understand who your ancestors were, who you are as a person, the things that you've done as a people, the things that you can do as a people. It inspires you as a people. It drives you as a people. It is everything you are as a people. Right, Ronnie? Right, Sergeant Lee? Your nationality is all you are as a people. You understand? Now, the fact of the matter remains, African American. Africa is a continent with 54 different countries, states, which govern even more nations. You understand? Right. But every other nation on earth govern themselves. The Irish govern Ireland. The Chinese govern China. You understand? The Indians govern India. The Greeks govern Greece. You get where I'm going with this. You understand? The reason why our people don't govern anything for themselves is because we don't know who we are. You understand? We think that we are ambiguously from anywhere all over the continent of Africa. But in 1913, a prophet of Allah came and delivered to our people the factual and proven truth of who our ancestors were before slavery. So that means that's who we are today. Because who your ancestors were in China, even though you were born here, you're still what? Chinese American, right? Right. So that would make us whatever nation we came from, but born in America, right? And not the name that were placed on our people during slavery, right? Now, here's the very important part. Here's the most important part. The names that were put on our people during the time of slavery occurred because that was the legal culture of the system on the land at the time. Certain people were designated as property, correct? We all know this. Let's be honest. We don't have to fake about human history. This car is property. My affairs is property. Their clothing is property, right? All property is regulated or legislated, right? There's laws about all property. So, since our people became property, they had to make laws to govern that property, right? But since before our people became property, there was never a people who were property. They had to create a name for those people who became property. And that name is Negro, black, colored. There's no place called Negro, is it? There's no place called black, is it? I'm wearing black, aren't I? When they call people from Asia, yellow, isn't that a negative term? So why is it okay to call our people black? So it shouldn't be okay to call our brothers from South America brown, or our brothers from Native America red, and we should not call people from Europe white. We should call people by their nationality, which indicates their culture and inspires them to be who their ancestors were. While we continue to call our people slaves, or those who cannot govern themselves, right? Those who do not know their culture, those who do not understand or are not a part of government, because during the time of slavery, our people were literally written out of the Constitution because we were not free men to be citizens or part of it. Our people were written in as property. But there are a portion of our people who were free because they knew their nationality. Because a state governs nations, right? So that would mean these United States of America actually came from the United Nations that were here in America doing business. If we look into our history, remember that these colonies were formed by various European nations. Spain, Portugal, England, France, Britain, the Dutch, right? And so these were United Nations on America. So all the nations who know themselves continue to thrive and flourish. Meanwhile, the places where the people who don't know themselves, they continue to tear their communities down. When you think of black, according to science, means death. If I black out, it means I've lost consciousness. If I'm blackballed in the industry, it means I'm dead in that industry. If I've been blacklisted, it means I cannot shop there or come there. Am I right? Right? When we go to funerals, we wear black, right? You understand? These connotations are not, they're not coincidences. They exist in the conscious mind of our people, of your people, of all people. The fact of the matter remains that we are humans like all people, and we too deserve to know and preserve who we are as a people. And as law enforcement officers, whom I assume must be concerned citizens because you're an enforcement officer of the law, I'm begging for your support in educating our people as to who they are truly and not who we've been told they are, which are Negro, black savages who have to be governed and controlled. Wouldn't that bring peace? As opposed to trying to force submission and subservience on some of the greatest people known to man. The same people. Please, Officer Collins, your sergeant's not pressed. You shouldn't be. Please, just a minute. Please, Officer Collins.
Hold on. I got a young lady with a concern, and we got to answer that concern. We don't answer that concern.
Absolutely. Do your job, Officer.
We're limited in time. I'm sorry.
Do your job, Officer Collins.
Right. Let me talk to my sergeant. That she really just had it on.
Take care. I appreciate you, Officer Running. You have a car, bro? You have a car? Will you help us? In any way. Contact your card. Contact your people. Anyone who's concerned, donate, share the message.